4分钟。对。还有3分钟哦。我要做开场前的那个了 announcement 了，因为差不多。
那个 moderator 在上洗手间，他等下马上。
好，没关系，先那个。OK。
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. The panel discussion on empowering women through technology will begin in 3 minutes. Please take your seats and switch your mobile phone into vibration mode.
等他就定位。还有一个。
You know, you specifically or your government specifically doing to advocate, you know, female attendance to some of this training, because I think this is not just the only case. A lot of trainings in LAC have a very high female attendance rate. So
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. The panel discussion on empowering women through technology begins now. Thank you for your attendance. It's my pleasure to introduce you our panel moderator today. She currently is the Principal PM Manager from Microsoft. Let's give her a very big round of applause. Welcome, Ms. Ann Yang.
Hello, everybody.
First of all, thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and our honorable panelists here. And I think this is actually a session I personally very passionate about. Because I think technologies today are not like the technologies before. Decades ago, technology are only available for a selective few people. So you need to have special skills to actually get access to the technology. But I think everybody in this room, we have smartphones that helps our day-to-day operation. And we have emails as a communication vehicle, no matter for business or for personal life. And I think it actually also transformed the way we actually live. So a lot of people, probably you don't watch the cable TV anymore, but you watch some of the entertainment medias, on the internet. And there's no CD players. In fact, I'm a big fan of CD. And it's actually hard for me to actually find a CD players that could actually play my CD collections. So technology is actually transform how we live. And it also represents a lot of business opportunity ahead of us. So when we actually enjoy all the benefit and convenience brought by technologies, there are also a lot of things that we need to consider. So for example, we need to consider about security. We need to consider about privacy. We need to consider about how we use technology responsibly and ethically. And the most important thing actually is how we actually make sure technology is available to everyone, not just to a selected few, but to everyone. And this is super important, especially mapping with the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. Number 5, that it is important to actually deliver gender equality as well as to empower females, including girls and women. Since I'm from the tech company, it is actually very critical for our involvement to drive this motion. So we actually have a very strict discipline and guidance when we actually design our product. We need to make sure we don't actually design a product that's actually have potential bias or only available for some specific field. And this, take for example, like AI, artificial intelligence, right? So the data set we use are actually, we have a very rigorous review process to make sure we don't actually collect data sets that's actually favor for a specific demographic. And we also roll out quite a few programs to actually help with empower female. So there are multiple programs that we provide trainings, workshops, and on various technologies, ranging from data analytics, productivity tools, artificial intelligence, etc. And that is actually how we want to enable the females to get access to the technologies and be able to use them for whatever needs to enable a better life, a better business, and for there. And I think this journey is not just for us. This journey is all together, and we have a lot to learn from others' experience. And this is why I feel so honored to actually be able to participate in this panel and learn from the panelists and their precious experience. So let me introduce our panelists. So first of all, I would like to introduce the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade, Regional Integration, and diplomacy, and Minister Peters. And she is actually from St. Vincent and the Grenadines. And their e-government and digital transformation story is very successful. And I think this is actually a valuable story for everybody to learn from. So welcome, Minister Peters. Yeah. And next, I want to introduce the Krista. Actually, I visit her website, and anybody here who loves shoes? Yeah, I love shoes, and I think shoes is important. But Krista and her company actually take shoes to another level because they build shoes with soles. So every shoe is handmade and customized. So I think to think about, how to actually capture everybody's demand, it is actually quite a lot, of thinking and thought. So I think she has a lot to share with us about how she actually leveraged technologies to do this. So welcome, Krista. Yeah, and next one, I think probably a lot of people would think artists and scientists are actually two sides of the scale, right? But I think Marilla actually do a very good balance of connecting her artistic soul with technology. So if you go to her Facebook, you will be inspired by all the colorful designs that she has and that outreach to all of us. So I think we have a lot to learn from Marilla about how she actually combining the two. So welcome, Marilla. And who likes spicy sauce to go with the food? Yeah, see? Yeah, and I personally think, especially we are, I would say everybody here in Taiwan is actually passionate about food, dumplings, spicy sauce is super important for us. And Violet Clark, and her business is actually famous for spicy sauce. And what's amazing is through the help of technology, she could actually transform her business from local to global. And I think this is actually quite a lot of journey that she could actually share, how she captured this momentum to grow the business. So welcome, Violet, and to share with us about your story. Thank you. And I think all of this is actually could happen, and it's because a lot of programs that drives collaboration. And for tech industry, we actually consider collaboration top priority because there are a lot of things or issues, big problems that we cannot solve without collaboration. And I think Mr. Yan actually is driving the collaboration among multiple countries and driving multiple programs for the enablement and empowerment for people with the different countries and regions for fulfilling their different needs. So I think there's a lot to learn how he actually captured the needs and tailor the programs to address the empowerment of the people for different countries and regions. So Mr. Yan, welcome to actually hold this panel. And with that, I will introduce Minister Peters to share her speech and her journey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, my friends of science, technology, and innovation, good afternoon. I am pleased to have been invited to participate in this panel discussion at this very important forum. And at the outset, I would thank the government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, for the warm hospitality that has been shown to me since I arrived here yesterday This is my first time visiting Taiwan, and I'm having a lot of fun so far. Thank you. The Republic of China, Taiwan, is and continues to be a good ally to St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Taiwan is among the world's leaders in the field of information communication technology, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines is grateful for the training opportunities and technological transfer between our countries, and looks forward to much more cooperation in the future. The famous scientist Albert Einstein is quoted as saying, and I quote, "It has become appallingly obvious that our technology has exceeded our humanity," unquote. However, St. Vincent and the Grenadines' relationship with Taiwan is better described and looked at through the quotation of Matt Mullenweg, a social media entrepreneur who said that, and I quote, "Technology is best when it brings people together," unquote. St. Vincent and the Grenadines and the Republic of China, Taiwan's relationship has borne much fruit in terms of bringing people together. There have been training programs conducted both in Taiwan and in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. We all understand the importance of science, technology, and innovation in our day-to-day lives and the ways in which technologies are transforming the world. It is particularly important for small island developing states such as St. Vincent and the Grenadines not to be left behind. And as such, the government and people of St. Vincent and the Grenadines are grateful for the cooperation within this field with the Republic of China, Taiwan. Former Ambassador of Taiwan to St. Vincent and the Grenadines, His Excellency Bushan Ge, stated that Taiwan began its bilateral ICT cooperation project with St. Vincent and the Grenadines in 2010. Taiwan and the government of Taiwan and the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines engaged in an ICT technical cooperation project in 2011 to 2015 with the Information Technology Services Division, which we affectionately refer to back home as ITSD. And any issues with information technology, we call an ITSD to deal with it. This project aided in improving software and hardware of the government, as well as providing technical assistance and building capacity. The benefits of the project were that it developed a blueprint for e-government, ICT integration, and ICT-related application systems used in the government service, and provided ICT-related education and training. In 2016, SVG and Taiwan signed an agreement titled Electronic Document and Records Management System of the Government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines to install the e-document and e-archiving system among 7 ministries or agencies, including the Ministry of Finance, Economic Planning, Sustainable Development and Information Technology, my very own, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Foreign Trade and Commerce, the Service Commission Department, Treasury, Inland Revenue, Customs and Excise, Information Technology Services Division, ITSD. This initiative saw the training of over 400 government officials, of which a significant number were female government employees. This initiative was geared towards a significant reduction in the use of paper and reduce delays in accessing information. This program is still an ongoing one in the context of full utilization within the public service of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. But the initiative has been championed by the women within the public service. So for example, within the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Foreign Trade, the senior executive officer is a major advocate for the utilization of this program. 2 Taiwanese ICT experts, Director Su Wei Kao and Senior Engineer Yu Che Hung, of the Institute for Information Industry in Taiwan visited St. Vincent and the Grenadines from July 26th to August 23rd, 2018, to complete the installation, testing, and training of the electronic document and records management systems of the government of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Between the period 2019 to 2021, the governments of Taiwan and St. Vincent and the Grenadines cooperated for the implementation of an intelligent bus management system and monitoring system project, which saw the establishment of intelligent video surveillance system to strengthen the functions of bus management institutions. This initiative is an important one, which helps to reduce the time waiting at bus stops, as well as strengthen the bus management system. This system can also be useful for women traveling at nights or even during the day, as information on the time of the next bus can be readily available. The project saw app development as well as digital monitoring stations installed throughout the island. However, the utilization of this system is currently low, but the benefits to be derived from such a system are very significant, and we continue to encourage the public transportation system, which is mainly privately owned, to take part in this program. Additionally, there has also been technological transfer in the area of healthcare, as the nurses of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, who are predominantly female, have benefited from training for the utilization of the chest compression device for CPR under the project for Public Health Emergency Response System enhancement. Further, training was provided for the utilization of video laryngoscope. The current public health project provides training mainly to public sector employees such as health workers, firefighters, and the police, and helps to enhance the emergency response system in SVG. It has benefited so far 97 professional persons, and among them 77 were women. The implementation period of the project went from the 2nd November 2021 and will run to 1st November 2025 with a total budget of $1.9 million. A public health project implemented earlier, the capacity building project for the prevention and control of diabetes, has been concluded on 31st January 2021 and benefited 1,104 individuals. The Women's Empowerment Project, as of today, has benefited 306 women, 16 vocational skills training courses, 94 female entrepreneurs and women-related businesses benefited from 3 batches of business management training for micro, small, and medium enterprises, with other training and improvement programs provided to governmental units and financial institutions. A total of $546,022.40 US has been spent on the implementation and grants to the awarded beneficiaries for the above-mentioned programs. For 2023, the Women's Empowerment Project will involve 9 women-related organizations to implement their proposals to realize their goals of benefiting 1,000 women with the funding of $260,500 US by the Taiwanese government. Furthermore, the recently launched offering national support for internship training and employment program, which we call On-Site, is funded by the Women's Empowerment Project with $500,000 US and is set to benefit at least 175 youths between the ages of 18 and 35. Finally, in the area of ICT in education, St. Vincent and the Grenadines has benefited through the annual scholarships from the Republic of China, Taiwan, through which students have benefited from studying at highly ranked universities in the area of information communication technology. Special guests from the Taiwan Technical Missions in 2017 briefed prospective students on degree programs in the area of agriculture and ICT in Taiwan. Then, there was an implementation period for a project known as the Banana Revitalization Project, which started in May of 2019 to 31st December 2022, with a total budget of $3.2 million US. The Banana Revitalization Project has benefited 150 farmers, and among them, 25 were women. I would like to take the opportunity to thank the Republic of China, Taiwan, for the vision for such a forum, to share success stories, and to invite further technological cooperation between our countries. This is an important agenda item, and I am confident that we will find new ideas and ways to cooperate with fresh energy to advance our efforts in the advancement of information, communication, technology, and innovation. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Minister Peters. A very successful collaboration and very successful e-government digital transformation story. Thank you for your sharing. And next one, I'd like to introduce Christoph, who has yet to introduce your story.
Good afternoon. My name is Krista Fuentes. I own a fashion brand of handmade leather shoes and accessories designed to dress and accompany powerful women. I would like to start by presenting you 3 different scenarios. First, picture the biggest slum in Central America, where violence and gangs reign. Inside lives a talented shoemaker, and a few miles away lives a 19-year-old fashion designer. How will you connect them? Now, imagine your dream is to become a shoe designer in a country where there is no school of shoe design. How will you learn? How will this dream become possible? And at last, how can a startup with a small budget start delegating activities such as accounting, keeping track of your finance, and many more? The past scenarios come from my own entrepreneurship story, and the solution has been the same, through technology. Whether it's simple technology like social media, or more complex like software and online education, they are examples of how, when used in the right way, technology becomes a tool to turn our impossibles into possibles. Women empowerment happens when we have access to education, training, and professional development, skills that will give us confidence to decide for ourselves, to design our future. When women are living safe, fulfilled, and productive lives, they can reach their full potential, contributing their skills to the workforce of our society. Technology is a big ally to accomplish this goal, because it builds bridges of information and connection. It is present in our daily lives. As long as you have a cell phone and internet connection, you can gain access to all these amazing tools. Through social media, we can advertise our work and enter larger markets. We can find platforms to connect with other women and find empathy. Online education, online jobs, anything you can imagine is possible. I was able to build my own company at 19 years old, with no initial capital, simply by having access to internet and using social media. We survived a global pandemic thanks to our online sales. I am now 28 years old, and this is my wish for every Latin American woman, not only to the ones located in the city, but mostly for the ones in remote areas. that they can live this experience too and become independent and empowered. I believe that with technology, this will be possible. Being able to continue with my company almost 10 years after I started has been a team effort. I would like to thank projects such as CANAC from ICDF for filling me up with the knowledge I needed to take my business to the next level. I would like to encourage more platforms such as this so we can gain the education to be empowered and make better life decisions. I am so grateful to be here presenting my country and my fellows from ICDF programs. It is such an honor. I feel so blessed to share a little bit of how I've been empowered through technology and hope my story will serve for more conversations like this to happen. At last, I would like to share a thought. I am because we are. Thank you.
Thank you, Krista, for a very inspiring story. Yes. And Mariana, and I think you also is an artist and also designer. And so we also would like to learn how you leverage technology to empower your business.
Muy buenas tardes.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Muchos piensan que la tecnología no combina con el arte. Sin embargo, no saben lo que significa la implementación de la tecnología.
Just a second, we are not getting the input.
Expandir y publicar los productos que yo realizo. Lo mío trata de la
Through technologies, we're able to maximize my design. I can print my design onto my product. I am able to gain more knowledge and information through technology. This knowledge used to be shared among other women, but now I have access to it thanks to technology. So I think training is really important so that we know where customers are so that we can find our way to our customers. We can realize our vision through art, through our product. We can have richer experience in our life. We could not be stuck in the past. We need to know how to make sales through different channels. Now, we've survived the pandemic. Of course, it was very challenging. I myself have 2 children. What I'm able to achieve allows me to continue to take care of my family. I got to know some other women's groups. I live in the capital city, but I've been able to travel elsewhere to receive training. My sons and I stay in hotels when we travel, and now I'm here in Taiwan. But I feel like home, so I would like to thank the government of RSC Taiwan. I would like to thank the ICDF team so that other women can find success. Whichever life stage they are in, there are always good people who are ready to help you. There's always a women's network. and the ROC Taiwan's government provides us with this opportunity to be here. So my dream is that for more other women like me to help each other, to leverage the opportunity. No one can stop us. As a woman, I'm not afraid of using technology to open a new door to enter the market. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Marilla. Thank you. And next, I'd like to introduce Violet to actually share with us on their journey from a local business to global through the technology.
Good day. It's working. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to share my story with everyone and the distinguished guests that are here. I really appreciate it. My name is Violet Clark, and I'm the co-owner of Llewellyn's Manufacturing Company. It's located on the historic island of Nevis. Our factory produces 18 different products, but we are primarily known for our hot sauce made from natural, sun-kissed produce grown in Nevis. Our hot sauce comes in mango, thyme, guava, golden apple, banana, and papaya flavors. We discovered just how powerful access to technology was when our signature hot sauce was featured in a FedEx commercial. The package left Nevis and was transitioned all the way to a family in China. After that, over 40 countries covering 5 continents of the world were able to try and review our hot sauce. The power of this short commercial, in no time at all, moved us from a local to an international supplier. An online store was created on our website using a simple PayPal system to receive online payments, along with social media platforms like Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram to promote our products. The platform provided the opportunity for us to develop a niche market for customers to find us and to have a more convenient way to pay. Hence, there was no need for us to have a retail store. We simply focused more on selling online and supplying local outlets, including local restaurants. The proceeds from this commercial enabled us to convert our downstairs apartment into the manufacturing facility that we use to this day. At this time, both my coworker and I were doing this business part-time while being fully employed in other establishments. We therefore did not have time to take full advantage of this online interest. 7 years later, however, we are still getting the emails asking about the cost of shipping hot sauce to places like Germany, Africa, England, and USA. With our movement into full-time entrepreneurship only last year and my recent training in ICDF, I can now see the value of women utilizing e-commerce platforms. With my new online apps, I can not only receive payments, but send invoices, track customer spending, develop data-led marketing strategies in a fast, convenient, and secure way. Who doesn't need this with the demands of women these days? Since the pandemic, rising shipping costs have significantly impacted our trade. However, selling online and beyond our borders still makes good financial sense. It takes the limit of how much you can earn due to population size, social status, educational background, gender. What happens when there are several competitors in your region trying to all do the same products? How do you stand out from the crowd? 2 ways in which I believe that we are doing this is by 1, selling beyond our borders, and 2, creating a distinguishable product. Making hot sauce may not be unique to Caribbean islands, but there are no two that are alike. When we sell across our borders, we can experience a variety of culinary experiences that will inspire and provide the essential spice of life, as well as access to new customers. Of course, when you gain those new customers, be sure to under-promise and over-deliver. At Llewellyn's Manufacturing Company, it has taken us years to create a hot sauce that has raised the bar in quality, taste, and international appeal. My secret weapon is my husband and co-owner, Mr. Llewellyn Clark, a 5-star chef trained in quality establishments, including the Four Seasons Resort and the Le Capri, London. Our customers have come to expect the best. They know that when they want vibrant colors, exquisite taste, and a lasting memory of Nevis captured in a bottle, they call us. Other technologies I would like to highlight on this panel are green technologies and supporting software. In a time when climate change is high on the agenda and food security is under threat, it is important that we protect and maximize our food chains locally. Quality products require the best fresh fruits and vegetables, and that is done when it's grown locally. I am a retired head teacher of a school for special students in Nevis. In the 13 years I was there, it was my goal to transform parts of our green space into a bountiful garden, providing for school meals and improving student access to healthier foods. To extend this influence, we offered vulnerable families from the school and the community salad bags at a minimum cost. This program is sustainable and successfully continuing today. This achievement is largely due to 2 critical factors: vision and partnership. Teachers and students bought into the vision and are proud to see its far-reaching benefits. And key organizations always offer their support as they witness how the school garden can reduce poverty, improve health, and access and address inequality. I continue to have a passionate interest in food security and our response to climate change in our region. As was done in the school, it is my intention to use green technology like the use of shade houses, digital data collection, and marketing as a key aspect of our business development. Also, as a graduate of the internationally renowned Helen's Daughters Women's Farmers Academy, I have seen the trend for more women seeking to engage in commercial farming. This has many vulnerabilities, including loss of investment through pests, disease, and unsold surplus crops. Farmers are beginning to use WhatsApp status, Facebook, and other social media platforms to alert customers on the produce that they have on sale, reducing gaps and wastage. Linkages are also created and sent to farmers' chats, to seminars and trainings and upcoming farmers' markets. However, more could be done in using the technology to collect and share information on what is happening locally as it relates to climate change and crop production and pest control. In our business, we have formed links with some local farmers to ensure the quality of the products. And I think this is a very good opportunity for women farmers who want to do it, who want to grow commercially. As some As someone who values vision and partnership, I must take this opportunity to congratulate the director of Taiwan ICDF for partnering with our government and local organizations like our Small Enterprise Development Unit to engage 200 women in training and creating business growth and expansion. Many of us were exposed to relevant technologies connected to new social groupings and received critical investment to propel us forward. I want to celebrate my partnership with the Women's Employment, Entrepreneur and Financial Inclusion Project, WIFI, for making it this far. Today, during the program, it was clear to see that many women my age, I know I say my age, but I am retired, many women my age felt a little anxious about using the technology. Overcoming the fear of technology is a critical component that I feel many programs fail to significantly address. Women's exposure to technology doesn't automatically mean that you empower them. We must see the benefits of the technology and move beyond our comfort zones to make it work for us. The WIFI project provided opportunities for women to connect and support each other through these challenges. It offered counseling sessions where women could speak one-on-one with skilled persons who could help us take the right steps in the right direction. I was able to use some of my hours to learn Zoho books, QuickBooks, and Excel for financial record keeping, and then choose the one that I preferred. Once I became more confident with the technology, I registered for 2 more online courses to further develop my skills. Finally, a critical component of any business is managing your resources, and that includes people. So, who do you have around you who could support you and give you assistance? A child, a friend, another business owner? I negotiated with my 16-year-old to help me to make and post videos to our social media, while he, in turn, is developing his skills and building his client base, starting with his mother. So, work around your digital fears. Be resourceful. You don't have to do it alone. Helen Keller once said, "Alone, we can do little. Together, we can do much." So go ahead, team up, and build your business beyond your borders.
Thank you, Clark, Violet Clark, for a very inspiring speech. And I myself, I got my mother always talking to me about the fear of technology. I know now that I might be the root cause of the problem. Yep. Next is Director Yan. I think ICDF is actually the hero behind the scene for many of this successful story. So please share with us about how you drive these programs.
Yes, good afternoon. Thank you for having me this afternoon. It's quite a pleasure to be part of this great event and to be with such a fabulous panelist, along with excellent business leader in one of the biggest tech company, and also the Excellency Foreign Minister of our best allies in the Caribbean region, and also 3 wonderful women entrepreneurs. So as the head of the Technical Cooperation Department in ICDF, I feel very happy and touched that I can join our project beneficiaries on the same stage and to listen what they have earned and what they have obtained from our projects. But in addition to that, I also feel a lot of pressure, and the pressure comes from a lot of ways. One is that as the only male panelist on this stage, Well, I can help to keep thinking, what can I contribute in this panel? And second, I'm not a tech guide. I don't have the technology background. I'm always developing a portfolio. The relations between agriculture and the woman is way closer than you can imagine. Maybe some numbers. Today, 1/3 of food in the world that we consume are produced by smallholder farmers. And among all the smallholder farmers, there are more than 40% are women. So how to support women to enhance their capacity to adapt to the climate change in their agriculture practice is quite critical, not only for women's livelihoods, but also for the global food security. So in agricultural area, the ICDF is enhancing using the technology to promote the climate smart agriculture nowadays. We integrate the geographic information system, weather forecast, and also the data science to support our smallholder farmers to use the data-oriented methodology, to use the science-based agricultural practice to enhance their resilience to the changing climate. This is one in the agriculture area, that's how we use the technology to empower women in the agriculture area. And the second point maybe I can share is the education. Because in the last 3 years, we all have seen how the COVID lockdown impacts in the education area. Children, students has to stay at home and they cannot go to school to receive their normal education. But not every family, not every children has those information infrastructure as those information devices they need to learn remotely. So in the past 3 years, we have carried out a very successful project in St. Lucia. We work with the local schools to train those teachers how to use the information technology to produce their teaching materials. And we also donate those information devices to the students and families so that the students could learn remotely from home. And also, in the benefits of the information technology, the teachers could be better learned how their students learn, how they approve, and how did they really learn from their new teaching materials or not? So these are all the information and the communication technology could bring us those positive benefits. So this is one. And the second role that I think the technology can play is the technology could play a role as a key to build up the strong resilience against the outside impacts. Especially under the context of the climate change nowadays, the natural disasters has become quite new normal nowadays. And quite often, the women and the youth are always the most vulnerable group, will be impacted by the natural disaster. So what if we can use the technology as information to enhance the disaster preparedness and disaster prevention measures? We can help those women to level up their disaster preparedness to the natural disaster. For example, in Belize, we have a project of urban resilience and disaster preparedness. We use the technology of Earth observation and the weather forecast technology to issue the early warning message to those disaster-prone area people so that they can evacuate in advance when the natural disaster is forecast to come. And this is very important because the years and the years of outcome of sustainable development could be easily wiped out just because of one single huge natural disaster. And we all know that there are more and more evidence and research suggesting that the natural disaster management should be considered as one of the most important topic in the Sustainable Development Goals. So this is the two. And the third is I think technology could be as a vital resources to create opportunity and to create competitiveness. And this brings us to the small and the medium enterprises management area. Just like my three previous panelists has mentioned, they have used those technology, information technology, such as social media, e-commerce, and those information, integrates the information into their business operation. And this all of that could help them to enhance the effectiveness of their business operation. And also, in these assisting women empowerment projects in the post-pandemic era that we just carried out in the past 2 years in Latin America and the Caribbean region, we have promoted a lot of training programs and incubation programs. And in the process, we always put the technology innovation at the core, at the center of our training programs and the capacity building programs. And now, after 2 years of work and efforts, we have seen a wonderful and fabulous outcomes of this project due to the appropriate application of technology. So this is basically the 3 points that I have learned from my long time working experience in the international development areas. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Yan. Yeah. And through the sharing, I personally also learned a lot from each individual, so I have some follow-up questions. And Minister Peters, I'm very impressed by the female participation of the training program. And I personally, my team also coordinate some of the training program for, tech industry and companies. And in one training program, we have about 80 attendants. And there's only 3 women out of that 80. So I'm really impressed that, out of 97 people for public health care training, the 77 are female. So is there any special thing you do or advocate or promote the female to actually attend the training and gain new skills?
Well, let me start by saying that the Vincentian women are driven, naturally driven. And whenever these opportunities arise, there's not much convincing that needs to be done. When the projects come on stream and the pronouncements and announcements are made, our women gravitate towards these opportunities in bettering themselves and taking part. So what we've done is, in every sector, we have tried to create these opportunities, partner with our friends like Taiwan for our women. And in our public service, the ratio is almost split 50-50. So there are about close to 50% women in the public service. And in the public service, the senior officials, majority of them are women. So as I said, there's not much convincing. So we have, over the years, fostered that environment for our women to take part, to take advantage of the opportunities and to better themselves.
Thank you, Minister Peters. And Krista, I think based on, even for our tech industry, mass production is easy, but customization is hard. And how do you actually leverage the, all the technologies and that help you with customizations, especially, I think, for your designs that's actually being wear by, people's feet every day. And there are actually a lot of customization that needs to be made. So how technology helps you from that regard?
So when I started, I used to just write notes in a notebook. And this was easy when I had 1 or 2 clients customizing their shoes. But as it evolves, it becomes harder. And I would go crazy in my mind figuring how I was going to make better this process. And sometimes the answers are simple, a Google form. for example. So when clients will go to my store, at the same time they were choosing their leather color, textiles, everything, I will be putting all this information in a Google form, which will not only give me organization, but will also later on give me data about where my clients live, which colors were the favorite ones that month, which style was the most requested one. This eventually evolved to a website that has its own questionnaire where they can fill it up from their home, or if they want to come to the store, we can do it for them. But it started simple, then it became more specialized. But I think that's how it is with technology. You have to understand how it works first, so you can go and make it more.
Thank you. And Ms. Marilla, and I think there's a lot of challenges, for pandemic to micro business, and yet the training program seems to help you through this, getting through the pandemic, challenges. Could you talk about what you see value out of the training program that help you the most?
Bueno, para empezar,
First of all, the pandemic caused a lot of hardship, personally and at work. After that, I believe through the assistance I have received, i.e. the training programs, the learning I have acquired, they are invaluable because I've learned how to use technology to design my company's website, webpage, to make a presentation. By using such tools, I have managed to withstand the shock. On the other hand, nowadays, with technology, just like I mentioned, I could present my products to a greater target audience worldwide. In particular, I'm most honored to be here in the Republic of China, Taiwan. Guarani is a very beautiful language. I sit here right next to a beautiful woman from Guatemala. I find myself very fortunate and blessed to be here. I would like to pay tribute to all the women and the Taiwan ICDF who have helped me extensively. Thank you.
Thank you, Marilla. Yeah. And Violet, I think there are a lot of things your company has done in terms of supporting, for example, like local farmers and providing some of the thoughts on the sustainability. But you also mentioned that there are more can be done. Could you actually share with us what are the other things that technology can help to do a good sustainability? I think specifically for the farmers or for your business, and what technology, the more that we can do in this aspect.
Yes, so as I mentioned previously, using the technology to also capture data in the field, I think is critical. If you have women who are going to be working on farms, wanting to do commercial farming, they are right there. They are the ones that are dealing with the crops every day. They're dealing with what's happening in the field every day. So who better to get to track climate change issues than the persons in the field? Because they can see when, for example, right now we have an issue where the lime trees seem to be not thriving. You know, they seem to be not thriving. So what is the issue with that? And how did we find that out? Because if the farmers noticed first, they're going to be the ones to see that. So if you capture that data, you could put some measures in place to actually mitigate that problem. So that's one thing. I just think that the technology could be used to add it in the data. Also as well, just even rainfall, you know, in your different regions, what is the rainfall, what's the rainfall like in your area, and capturing that data is also going to help. And another thing I would think in terms of how it benefits, I'm not sure if it's necessarily just a technological thing, but linkages, as I said, I'm very keen on partnerships. So having women who are doing commercial farming, if you're linking with, you know, somebody who's making, you know, has a passion fruit, and we wanted to make a passion fruit hot sauce, we could actually make linkages with that farmer, and that farmer, we could actually do it in a more, I know we like to partner in a kind of, you know, what do you call that way? You know, just, okay, you could do something for me. Yes, that's important. And I don't want to negate that at all, because that's how we work. But yes, there should be some kind of formal way of making that link so that those women farmers can take that to the bank. They should be able to say, I have a connection with Llewellyn's manufacturing company to produce such and just for them, and I'm guaranteed to get paid. And so you need to guarantee that I can get a loan so I can put some fencing up and stop the monkeys from eating my passion fruit. Yeah, so those types of things are really important. I just think that partnerships in that way are really, really important. And, you know, and using the technology, putting the technology in the hands of the women are pretty good. Yeah.
I think, Director Yan, you probably can identify your next project. Yeah. Yeah, and Director Yan, I think because the program you run actually is actually supporting females from actually different regions, and they have different needs. So how do you actually identify the needs and customize the program to tailor for whatever it is need for that specific region? How do we actually do that?
Yes, thank you. As you know, that Taiwan ICDF is a foreign aid agency supported by Taiwanese government. So the ownership of our ally countries is always at the core of our various projects. And one of our biggest strategy to consolidate the ownership is that we have our own team on the ground. We dispatch Taiwan technical missions to our ally countries to make sure that all of our projects could fit into the local context. Because we think the local context is very important for development projects. Even though Taiwan has a lot of comparative advantage in all kinds of areas, just like I mentioned, we have 6 operation areas, but our experience, our knowledge, and our thoughts could not just copy or replicate directly to our ally countries, because the context, the environment, the social is all different from Taiwan. So we always think what is really challenging for us to do our work is how to transform our comparative advantage and our knowledge to matching those real needs of our ally countries. So from the first step, when we have to identify the projects, we always work with our ally countries, even the potential beneficiaries, we have to include their opinions. We have to include their observation. And we are going to integrate their suggestion into our project design to make sure our projects will be actually solving their problems. And the second thing is that during the process of execution of the projects, we don't see the beneficiary as a simple receiver of resources. We consider them as a part of a solution because we have to include them to be part of the project implementation team. For example, in the agriculture, we always have a strategy called the participatory breeding strategy. Because when, of course, in every agricultural project, we have our own demonstration farm, belongs to Taiwan Technical Mission. But this demonstration farm might be out of the local context. This is what we try to prevent in, this is something that we don't want it happens. So we just train our farmers in all areas and including them as part of our breeding, even though it's rice breeding, our tropical fruits breeding, we consider them as a team, as a member of our team, of our breeding team. And we distribute some resources to their own farm and to teach them how to breed in the new species, the new varieties. The outcome of the breeding could be very, very fitting into the local context. So it will be helpful to promote and to extend in the future because the other farmers will think, okay, this is success in our peer farmers. It's not only a successful case in the demonstration farm of Taiwan Technical Mission. So this is a kind of a project implementation, not only a project implementation strategy, but also a project communication strategy. We try to persuade those farmers to accept the new knowledge, new technology in all kinds of areas. It could be agriculture, it could be the environment. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And I also would like to ask the three entrepreneurs, because based on statistics, sometimes it's actually harder for female startups to actually get funding, or they feel like there were some of the gender bias when you actually request for funding. And do you feel the same way? And how technology can help to mitigate some of the bias? Yeah. Yep, Marila.
No, con respecto a la discriminación.
No. Speaking of gender-based discrimination, I have not encountered such discrimination. But I think when you start a new business, funding and financing is very difficult to come by. I worked with Taiwan ICDF, and I presented my own business plan, highlighting what kind of technologies I would use. As a result, I got angel investors' support. So take myself, for example. By using technology, we were able to procure machinery, the necessary commodities, raw materials. We also used a lot of software programs. And of course, we need to have machinery to produce textile products. And of course, we attended a lot of training programs to learn about these skills. As for funding, we play by the rules. That is the rules set by the banks. Sometimes we get grants or subsidies from different organizations. That's how I started my own business.
I was just listening to you. I would definitely recommend not going to the bank. I would use the technology and let the technology give you enough money to start your own business. That's what I would do. That's my journey. Just being able to bootstrap, pull things up from the heels and just get it done as best as you can. However, when you get to a certain level and you want to be able to expand, now this is where the issue comes, and I think this is where I would really like to have further conversation about that, because what we see, and we've seen in these types of programs, are really good, small businesses that function. They're great to pay the bills. They're great to, buy some clothes, and help the kids. They're not enough to actually make an impact. And I am sure that the women sitting on this stage are here not just for themselves, but they're here to make an impact in their communities. And so making an impact in your community means that you need to have a better business where you can assist. For example, every summer, when they're doing summer programs, the children come to the factory, and having the children at the factory, I love having the children at the factory. We have a great time every single time. But guess what? They don't come with stuff. Their summer camp groups don't come with anything. So every group comes through the factory every single year. And we provide everything for them. We cook for them. We make sure they know where the things come from, where they're grown. They cook, they eat, and everything else. How is that funded? That's funded by us. And so we can't afford to be a small enterprise. We need to get to the next level. And that's the conversation I'd like to have.
Yes.
Thank you. From listening to the other panelists, it is very evident that the problem persists throughout our region, Latin America and the Caribbean, as it relates to financing. And this is something that I have been very vocal about back home. And it's such a shame because small, medium enterprises, whenever they get the opportunity to set themselves up and grow, they empower their communities, they empower the people around them, and they're able to assist others. So it's a shame, but our administration, recognizing this was an issue in 2020 especially, where almost all of our sectors were decimated because of COVID-19, we implemented the PRIME program, and PRIME is an acronym that stands for Promoting Youth Micro-Enterprises. And this is where young people could put forward a business plan. And once their business plan is approved, they can receive a level of financing to assist them in starting the business. We also had recipients of PRIME grants who had already established their businesses, but their businesses needed an injection of funds that were not readily available at the existing financial institutions. So for example, the dress I'm wearing was made by a Vincentian designer, and she was a recipient of the PRIME grants. And this is one of the innovative ways in which our administration has sought to empower our youths, empower small businesses, to give them that extra push. And of course, with our partnership with Taiwan and ICDF, we see the Women's Economic Empowerment Program allowing our female entrepreneurs to establish businesses and grow their businesses. In fact, in another panel that is taking place, one of our very own from St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Mrs. Rani John, who owns her hair care line, was a recipient, and she received an elite award and received a grant to continue and further her business. So these partnerships that we have with our friends, Taiwan, and other organizations are very important, because access to financing for small businesses is definitely a problem. And I join with my sister in saying I don't think there is a gender-based discrimination, but there seems to be a discrimination towards small enterprises. And, you know, I do hope that that mindset would change in time.
Yes.
For my country, I wouldn't necessarily say that there's a gap, but there's definitely lack of confidence for women to approach to a bank to ask for finance, because women tend to be less educated. So they don't feel the confidence, they don't feel confident to go to a bank because they don't know the revenue, for example. And that's why technology is so important, because if a small business owners will learn to use software to keep track of how much they are making monthly, for example, they will more confident go to a bank and say, I know I need this amount because I know how much I can pay monthly, for example. So that's why women tend to go less to the bank in my country, and I guess mostly across Latin America. We hear loan, for example, and we get scared. But in the other hand, men go all the time to get loans for different kinds of reasons, but not women. So definitely encouraging technology for women is very empowering, because they're gonna feel confident to make decisions for themselves and know that they can pay, and know how much they can pay, how much they can ask for, and how this money will make their business grow.
Good point, yeah. And now I would like to actually turn to the audience and see if audience, you have any questions for the panelists. Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Nina. I'm Nina Huang from the Department of Gender Equality. Executive Yuan, I would like to share our gender policy efforts. We also, Taiwan's government also concerned about empowering women through technology. After promoting access to capital and capacity building by utilizing technology for women, we moving forward to set priority policy last year. And the policy is creating environment, space, and technology innovation with a gender perspective. We said our policy goal is facilitate gender innovation in scientific research and technology development. So we also is to for example, so we promote the gender information. For example, for women farmer, the agriculture vehicle is hard to operate or for use. So we promote the product development with gender perspective is to create a women-friendly vehicle for women farmers. So now we set the gender innovations policy for the women. So we're moving forward. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for your sharing. Yeah. And any other questions from the audience?
Good afternoon. And first, I'm Allison from the Technical Cooperation Department of Taiwan ICDF. And first of all, I would like to thank all of including Ms. and Yang and all panelists, the wonderful sharing with us. And I have one question for our panelists. For me, it scares a little bit, for me, when I need to use new technology to implement my work or get my work done. It always scares me a little bit. And so I would like to know that what is the biggest obstacles for you when you, in very beginning stage, for you to access or to utilize technology to help to implement your own work or your own job? Thank you.
So do we want to take this? So basically, she's asking what's the biggest hurdle, obstacles when you actually expose to technology and how you overcome that. And this is a question for everybody. Yeah, so Marilla first.
En principio, porque es un mundo lo inicias primeramente, pero a través de la capacitación que también lanzan en línea ICDF en su página, en su portal.
Yes. ICDF provides much information on their websites. Other than that, we need to convince ourselves that we're women, that's for sure, yet we are brave. We need to improve ourselves. We need to have more confidence in ourselves because we will find the people who are willing to help us to start up our business. We need to face these challenges with a brave heart because that's the only way. The way forward is the only way.
In my personal experience, I feel like the scariest part is feeling that I'm doing it by myself, that I'm alone. So that's why, for me, mentorship is so important. Because to have that companionship during that learning process that is hard for everyone, I think we all face the same, fears when we're learning something new in technology. To have someone to go to and to share, this part is harder for me, for example, and just be vulnerable at some point too, helps a lot, especially if the mentorship comes from another woman, because you can look up to her and say, if she was able to do it, then I can do it too.
Yes, that's good.
I think just not taking on too much too quickly is really key for me. I tend to be quite focused. So learning one thing at a time was very necessary for me. And just trying to master that. If you just focused on that one thing that you want to achieve today, that you want to overcome today, and get that done, and leave tomorrow, you'll get that tomorrow. You know, just do what you need to do then. I think that just made it manageable. I think when everything started, it was everything coming at you at one time, and it was just too much. I had to balance this, do that, and it was just too much. Now I'm able to compartmentalize that and just to say, I will take on this today and no more. Yes.
Yeah. And Minister Peters?
Well, I usually describe myself as someone who reflects a lot. And this is something I've done, over the years. I would reflect on the reality of the situation at hand. And I would consider whether there are any areas of deficiency where I can improve. So in the context of, let's say, a small business, or in any context, you look to see whether there are any deficiencies. And then once you've identified it, you seek out areas and avenues that can assist you to deal with those shortcomings. So in the context of your business, you may have a very good product, but people are not gravitating towards your product. Is it because the marketing that you're using is not the best, is not user-friendly, it's not reaching people? So then you listen and you engage. Sometimes it pays well to have engagements like these, engage with other small business owners and other persons, mentors, as my sister said, to get the necessary advice and guidance. And then once you've identified what the problem is and what you need to do, then you can thoroughly execute it.
Yes, thank you. And Mr. Ye?
Yeah, although I'm not an entrepreneur, but I do have some personal experience because I have to touch a lot of new technology in my work. My personal view is quite simple because the most important thing is that you have to open your minds to the new technology. And once I show interest to the new technology, I learn and I use and I make mistake and I fix and I learn again and I improve. So that's basically the cycle happens day to day in my daily work. But also I'm also interested to know what our moderator think, because you are coming from one of the biggest tech company, and one of the hottest topic is the ChatGPT. It's supported by the Microsoft. So maybe you can share some of your thoughts and experience with us.
Yeah, I can ask ChatGPT. Yeah, I think I agree with all of your points. It's actually the most important thing is actually keep an open heart and learning heart. And in Microsoft, we have a culture called growth mindset. So basically, it's actually advocating for us to take challenges, not afraid of failures or something like that. Even you fail, as long as you learn something for future improvement, it's all okay. So I think this is a culture that helps a lot to actually try new things, learn new technologies, explore new ways to do things. But I also think technology can help this a little bit. So whenever you come to a new terms or new technologies, search on internet. Somebody probably already did a video of that technology 101 that give you, the basics understanding of that specific technology in 5 minutes. So I think, there are a lot of resources that's actually available on the internet that's actually just a few clicks away. So that's also how I pick up some of the new technologies. And back to the audience. Yes, please.
Good afternoon, everyone. So my name is Christina Jean-Louis, and then I'm from Haiti. I'm currently studying business administration at National Trinity University. So I would like to thank you, all of you from the panel, for having such a great debate discussion about women in technology. I have 2 questions. The first one, I think is from, I don't have the names, but from, for the lady from St. Vincent in the Grenadines, and also for St. Kitts and Nevis. So because you're from the Caribbean, so I'm from Haiti, and we're in the Caribbean. So the Caribbean is a lot of small islands. So we have projects, we have a lot of things that we are currently facing, for example, such as issue and technology. So I would like to ask you specifically, as you are a minister, how do you think that we can have some cooperation like between islands so that we can move forward together in this sense? Because women are facing technology issues, so if we could empower them together, how do you think that is possible? And then as you, like we're talking about partnership, so this is very important, and then you have a business that started as a local company and now it's global, as you said, and then congratulations for this. So how do you think probably with your expertise, with your experience, that you could help probably as a civil person just empowering other small companies from other islands to take this way as well, to start from like a local one and then go global. And then the second question is for our director from ICDF. You mentioned that ICDF is actually developing a partnership with Belize on disaster risk. And then we know that Haiti has always been facing a lot of natural disaster, either earthquake or other ones. So how do you think, I think this would be a great project for our country, because we need this, like, to educate people how to survive when we have such natural disasters. So do you think it is possible for this to be implemented in our country? Probably, like, people in the countryside, they could know how to survive, like, when we have those kind of situations. So these are my questions, and then thank you for taking time to answer.
Thank you. Yeah. Minister Peters.
Thank you very much, my sister from Haiti, for your question. One of the challenges in the Caribbean is that although we are small island developing states and we all go through similar issues and similar challenges, we do not share information. And I recently attended an LAC forum in Suriname in October of 2022. And this was a major sticking point, and it was a topic where ministers and ambassadors, we all emphasized that there is a lack of sharing information. So I think one of the things we need to do is to communicate with each other more and share the information and share experiences, share best practices. One of the ways in which I think we can do that is to utilize our multilateral space. So for instance, Haiti is a member of CARICOM. There are various CARICOM agencies and bodies that have many initiatives, and we need to tap into those agencies. In the OECS context, the Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, and these are the smaller states of CARICOM, there is also that cohesion there where there are a number of projects that are implemented on the OECS level to assist our citizens. So that would be my advice. We need to share information, and this has to come from the top. So policymakers like myself, we need to encourage our counterparts in the different Caribbean countries to share information so that we can learn from each other, because then what's the point of trying to build a new wheel? The wheel is already invented. Let's just try and improve it. And of course, as I said, to utilize the multilateral spaces that we have to go forward and improve ourselves.
Thank you. Ms. Clark?
I did not really get all of the question that you were saying, but I definitely support what my colleague just said. Also in terms of connection and partnerships is the just trading. One of the things I said earlier is that we are similar, but we are diverse. But diversity doesn't necessarily have to mean separate. We could use those diversities to add spice, to add the dynamics of life. And so that level of collaboration is really important. If you don't collaborate to the person next to you who's kind of similar that you can work with, how are you going to work on a global scale? Sometimes those partners, just building partnerships inside of ministries is a challenge. Like my colleague is saying, we do have challenges in that. I've just retired as a head teacher. My whole experience was just trying to build partnerships between gender affairs and another ministry, or education and something else, because you could be doing a project in one area and another department doing that same project in a different capacity, you know, but it's the same project. If we just had conversation, we could have saved money. So conversations are really important to have those partnerships. Also as well, when you're having it's good to have the policymakers. Yes, we need the policymakers. But if you do not have those persons on the ground that inform the policy, what you do is end up creating something that sounds good on paper but does not reach the people. If we don't want to have those experiences, we want to be able to have the forums in which we can have conversation. Conversation is going to help us inform the policies that will inform when we get together in the CARICOM meetings, they will make more sense. Because you might say, oh, we want to be able to trade because you think that's a good idea to do. But in reality, the small businesses are saying, no, I don't want to trade. I'm happy being local. But you've made the assumption that they want to go globally. It's not an easy thing to be global because we have other challenges in terms of shipping, in terms of importation costs. So all those challenges, they may not want to have to take on those challenges. They might be happy just to sell it down the road to a local supermarket. You see what I'm saying? So you can't speak for people. You have to let people speak for themselves. Create the forums, let them speak for themselves, and then interpret that and bring that to policy level. Yeah.
Yep, thank you, Ms. Clark. And Mr. Yin?
Yes, thank you very much for your suggestion. Actually, Haiti, I do have some very strong personal feeling to Haiti because I used to work in Haiti in 2010, just right after the huge earthquake in January. I was the post-reconstruction project manager of ICDF in Haiti. I spent 6 months in Haiti, so I did witness how much the damage and the impact a natural disaster such as earthquake could bring to developing countries such as Haiti. And of course, Taiwan has a lot of experience in dealing with the natural disaster, no matter it's the earthquake, flooding, landslides, extreme weather events. And all those experience, we do learn some lesson learned how to use the technology to reduce the damage that come with the natural disaster. But in Haiti, my personal view is another point that we can think about is how to build up the community resilience, how to enhance the community people to actually step up in the front line to be prepared for the coming disasters, because we all know that the government is already facing some challenge in enhance the good governance. So in Taiwan, this is our experience learned from various natural disasters. We train our community people, we equip our community people with the disaster preparedness knowledge so that when the disaster comes, they could react, they could respond in the real time and to reduce the damage of the property and lives. So, of course, Haiti is a very important ally of Taiwan, of Republic of China. So we are certainly looking forward to create new projects in this area with Haiti governments in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think the lady on the front table, yeah.
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for your presentation. My name is Naitana Jean-Baptiste. I'm studying Diplomacy and International Relations at Tamkang University. And my question is directed to Mrs. Peters. Okay, I noted. As we know, it's still a challenge in many other countries in the Caribbean, including my own country, Haiti, to have a good amount of women to participate actively in their communities, especially, let's say, to technology. But since you've said that in St. Vincent, the women are very driven, and I was very happy to hear that, and that also made me think, like, and want to ask you, what do you think is the reason, like, what makes the difference in your country for women to be, so driven, where
in others in the same region, women tend to participate less. So what do you think motivates them, especially in your countries? Thank you.
I think one of the motivators is that in St. Vincent, we have strong matriarchs in our families, mothers, grandmothers, aunts, and I do believe that they have inspired. And in my case, they have inspired, my mother, my grandmother, and other women. And one of the things I have noticed in St. Vincent and the Grenadines is that a lot of the organizations that we have, the civil society organizations, are driven by women for the benefit of young women and the women of the future. So it is something that is ingrained from a very young age. So if I could use myself as an example, I was a member of the Red Cross Society at a young age, the Girl Guides Association from a young age. And these associations have done their part in shaping the minds of women. And I mentioned in my address that for 2023, the new component for the Women's Empowerment Program would see civil society organizations taking the lead, implementing their proposals for the benefit of Vincentian women, and that is something I am very much looking forward to. And I remember I did the promotional video to make the call to civil society to send their proposals in, because this is a worthy cause. And as I said, these organizations have shaped the mindset of Vincentian women. At the same time, I caution my fellow sisters that we cannot leave the young boys and the young men behind, because we do not want a situation where we are creating all of these powerful women, empowered women, but they have no men of equal or similar caliber to stand beside them. So we have to be mindful of that. But I do believe, if I can use that as an example, that is one of the reasons I think why our women are so driven, because many of the organizations are led by women for the empowerment and development of young women.
I think that's very critical to actually have more female leadership as a role model, and also pay more attention to whatever programs or policies that we could actually drive.
And if I can add for balance, I have challenged my fellow professionals, the males, to have similar organizations. There are a few, but they are in the minority. So I have challenged them to create mentorship programs for the young men in St. Vincent and the Grenadines as well.
Thank you. Any other questions? Okay, I think, sorry.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christine Jean-Louis, and I'm also a business administration student. So thank you, all of you, first of all, for such amazing presentation. So my question is more regarding green technology. I have noticed that we have been talking about technology, the impact, how to empower women, but only our panelists from St. Kitts really mention about green technology. So I would like to ask first for the entrepreneurs here, how do you think and how do you implement green technology in the process of using technology to empower you and also empower your society? And also, I think when talking about green technology, there is also some economic challenges because green technology is obviously more expensive to do. For example, we would go to buy other products instead of going to buy organic products from the supermarket because it's less expensive. So how can we face these challenges in implementing green technology in our businesses and also in the government when taking policies? How can we encourage people to go more towards green technology? Thank you.
So the three entrepreneurs. I think, Krista, do you want to take that? Yeah. I think the question is for them to actually, how to actually leverage the technology and adopt that into their process. Is that right? Green technology, yes. Yeah. Green sustainability technologies into your process. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Te contesto esa parte porque también me dedico a hacer es la reutilización en vez de descartar. Sé que Krista utiliza cuero para mis productos, también utilizo cuero ecológico.
Just a second, we're not getting the feed.
Cuidar el medio ambiente.
In manufacturing the cloth, we can use recycled materials. This is to protect our environment with our efforts when we only use certain materials or recycled materials.
Yes, so understanding I think the global pandemic really gave us the understanding, especially in our region, that if you are not taking care of your own backyard, you're going to run into a problem later on. And I think persons began to really understand that, especially through the pandemic. We saw a massive increase in our area. I would love to get the figures. I will definitely look for that. But where just backyard gardens were starting to come up during the pandemic, people were realizing that they had to grow more and just recycle what they have, even with the space that we had. You know, the use of shade houses, shade houses, yes, they're expensive, but there was lots of other things that people used. Recycled material, for instance, tires. We grew in tires, we grew in old plastic containers. You know, I went to a yard that had in like all these square containers that you get water in. We often use them as well for the factory. And they were cut up, and herbs and thyme and all that were grown in those containers. So it doesn't have to be necessarily expensive. You just have to be committed to do it. And do it on a small scale and then add further on. For instance, we have a hydro farm, hydro garden that was planning to increase their capacity. And all their old shade house material and everything was given to us to reconstruct it in another way to make additional shade housing. So there are ways in which we can just have to find other people where we can partner with to get the materials that we need to really use this type of technology in a useful way, because it needs to be used especially when you have the level of pests that we have. We have a lot of monkeys, donkeys, roaming animals, everything around, and so you need to protect the food and you need to protect what's going on so that you don't have to be running to the shops. A lot of people couldn't do that. It was just too expensive. Or when we went to the shops, a lot of things weren't there. They just weren't on the shelves. So we had to be networking with other people to get fresh things, fresh fruits and vegetables to use. So we also used, like we were saying, the apps, the WhatsApp groups and things like that to let the community know what was being grown. because oftentimes people are growing and doing things in their own space, but they're not communicating. So when they've got a crop of watermelons and realize the watermelons are coming into maturity, but somebody else has imported a whole system of watermelons. So you've got the import coming in, and then the local farmer have their crops, sitting on the shelf. How do we do that? How do we know what's coming in and what is needed on a week-to-week basis to serve our population? Can we say, we need a certain percentage should be left for a local market? That's a policy issue. And oftentimes, our regions don't like to do those things because they feel as though that hotels and supermarkets are relying on that income. But if you don't leave space for the local farmers, then you're constantly competing with them and you're constantly pushing them out. And so we need to get better at doing the figures and to know, well, this is what we can import and this is what we'll get locally. So that takes communication. It takes somebody actually putting in that data to know how much watermelon do you consume in the week? That kind of thinking. So it takes some work to get all these different issues sorted out, but it can be used, it can work. Green technology is really, really important for us to get it right and for us to be able to feed our regions and not be so dependent. Yeah.
And I think the second question is about the cost of the green material, because that's actually higher. And I think, Krista, you actually, from your website, you specifically call out you are actually using ethical materials for your shoes. So do you see that materials actually cost more? And how do you actually mitigate that?
I do think we have that perception that using green materials can be more expensive, but I feel that's where technology comes in, like social media, for example. I'm always looking at what's around me, like locally in my country, and just by looking different profiles in social media, I end up finding out that maybe someone is doing upcycled denim, for example. So instead of searching from outside my country and making it harder for me to get it, I can use the one that it's like near me. So that has been a way in which I have been able to apply green process in my personal products. Also, for example, we use leather, as you said, and leather tends to make a lot of waste. So I start keeping all this leather, and then I realized I could do smaller products like keychains, wallets. So then I start doing a no waste policy for myself, and with every product we do, we save the scraps, and later on, when I have time, I design products to use those scraps. So those are some ways.
Thank you, Krista. I think this is something that government could also help. So, for example, there could be programs actually promote people to actually use lower cost, ethical products. So, Minister Peters, and do you have some policies or programs to drive that?
Well, I think first and foremost, there needs to be education on the benefits of using green technology. And I as my friend, Mr. Yen from ICDF is here, I would throw this challenge out as it relates to educating about green technology and assisting small, medium enterprises in assessing the way they do business. So my sister here has said, well, she has a no waste policy. So all the bits and scraps, she finds other uses for them. And I think that is something you can look at to assist and educate the the business owners, and then give recommendations and the necessary assistance and support in that regard.
Thank you. And I think we have only 3 minutes left, and I would like each panelist, make a one-sentence summary of your journey here, and maybe start from Minister Peters.
I am very happy to be here, and I said this when I arrived, that it meant a lot to me for an invitation to be extended to me to take part in this forum as the first female foreign minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the only female sitting in cabinet currently. These forums are very important because it gives insight into not only what St. Vincent and the Grenadines has done, but what our other allies have done to empower our women. And there are a lot of takeaways from this forum that I will take away and take back. And particularly if I can mention that St. Vincent and the Grenadines, we were recently elected as the president of LAC, the Community of Latin American and Caribbean States. So we will be working with our brothers and sisters in Latin America to initiate projects for the betterment of their peoples and their developments, and to advocate for the issues that affect us jointly as Latin America and the Caribbean. So this forum has been very, very informative, and I look forward to the next one. And hopefully we see new and more innovative ideas going forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister Peters and Krista.
Yeah, I really like a quote that says that a mind stretched by a new experience will never go back to its old dimensions. And that's how I feel right now after listening to all of you. My mind is flying right now and thinking about how amazing and smart you are, and I've learned so much from this discussion, from these questions, and I can't wait to go back to my country and apply it, of course, to my business, but also to share it with my other female partners. And especially, it has really motivated me to see how similar we are all in Latin America, how we have the same struggles, and how important it is for us to join and to share information, like you said, share stories. And thank you so much, Taiwan, for having us here. My heart is filled, my mind is filled too, so thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Frutas. And Marila.
En lo particular, provenir de, creo que soy la...
For me personally, I have come from afar, from Paraguay. I'm grateful to the government of the Republic of China, Taiwan, and the Taiwan ICDF, as well as all women's organizations. I have learned a lot from the forum. I have a lot of visions, and this experience has broadened my horizons. I will not stop learning. I think I will try to come out of my comfort zone. I would like to explore overseas markets too. I work in the art crafts world. We do not engage in mass production. I hope everything we make every day will make the world better. And I hope more people get to know what we produce. And by so doing, we will be able to empower economically our next generation. They will be able to fulfill their potential fully. So once again, I thank you for your invitation.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. This has been an amazing experience for me. I was overwhelmed, actually, at the invitation, even to come into the program when I did with the Wi-Fi project. I actually had to be convinced to do it. Right at the last minute, I was actually convinced to do it. And two people were critical in that. And that one was my husband, and another was a friend. So I agree that, you know, if I had not been encouraged by my husband to step up and to go, I would not be here. And so the programs are wonderful, wonderfully designed. It really walked me through my transition from a full-time head teacher to a full-time entrepreneur. But I agree with Ms. Peters that without the men there encouraging you as well and making room for you on the same stage, moving over on the platform. My husband's a very famous person. He's a 5-star chef, so he tends to have a really big presence. And so unless he moved over, you know, it would have been difficult for me to do that. I could not have forced my way to do that. I was not going to lose my marriage over it. I love my husband. So yes, he had to move over. And I think that the diversity of our stories is what makes it appealing. And it is what will speak to different women. Everybody's not going to have the same story, but every woman will hear themselves inside of one of our stories. And that's what makes this so powerful and so unique. I am overwhelmed to meet so many of these wonderful persons, the women, the trainers, the organizers, the officials that are pouring in, you know, just so much hope and so much expectation and joy and anticipation is just phenomenal. And even as I've been here, as I said, I have a little fear of technology, but I'm overcoming it. So, and what I've been doing is sending back the information to all the women's groups that I've been in. And they're all laughing like, you sending back information? You know, and they're all so excited about what I'm sharing, just from what, you know, I've received here. They're just so excited about what is being shared. And so just be assured that it's not just me that's full. It's St. Kitts and Nevis women who are also sharing their thanks to Taiwan, to all the persons who made this possible for us to be here. And you know, we really look forward to having these conversations again. Thank you very much for guiding us through the panel discussion as well, Ms. Yan. It was very good.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Yan.
Yeah, it's just so appreciated for this opportunity to be here, and you know, I did learn quite a lot from this great, fabulous panelist. And what is really touching me the most is that when we're talking about technology, people would think it's quite cold, it's quite hard, it's quite complicated. But from the voice from our women entrepreneurs on this stage, you can see that technology could be very warm, could be soft, could be very humane. And I do think this is quite a successful story and a wonderful story that we co-create between Taiwan ICDF and our ally countries together in this women empowerment project.
Thank you. And for me, because I'm coming from the tech industry, so first of all, I'm very humbled that our technology is be able to actually touch people's life in one way or others. So I think this is really a very humbling experience for me. And I have a teacher, and she reminds me that, you know, all the women's rights that we enjoy today, including that we can work, we can take education, we can vote, we can participate in, you know, government activities or get a profession, etc. It's actually the result from the previous, female rights advocates that fought for us. And being a mom of 2 daughters, I feel this is also my obligation, to do my job. And I think for everybody in this room, no matter you are female or male, I think having a gender equality word is actually beneficial for everybody's life. And so I think no matter us, that we need to fight for our own gender, but also we need the male to actually provide the allyship to support our journey. So altogether, I feel if we work together, we should be able to achieve a more equality in gender and in all other aspects, and to make this world a better place. So thank you everybody for your time, really inspiring sharing. Thank you.
Sadly, our panel discussion will be ended here. Before it ends, I would like to invite our moderator and all panelists take a group photo on stage. At the meantime, I would like to express our appreciation for our moderator and panelists and all of audience here. We won't have such fruitful and constructive discussion without any one of you. So please give all of you a big round of applause again.